This is the Blzkn podcast, and today we'll be having another episode of our debate topic for the football section. Today we'll be considering whether a golden generation can be considered a top national team with failing to winning a national team. Winning a national trophy. The teams that will be referenced will be England, Argentina, Belgium, Portugal, Brazil, and just for Tony, we'll shout out Mexico, even though we're not actually considering them, but we'll move on from that. But obviously, some of these teams have been considered their golden generations with the accumulation of talent that were there, but failed to win their respective national trophies. So to begin with, I'll start off with you, Tony, and what is your opinions on this topic, and what do you have to bring?
I think, obviously, I don't know, because no one remembers losers, Like, but for example, with Argentina, like 2014, everyone will remember that Argentina team was Messi lost the final. So, and then England, like me, even like I was like 7 watching the England team, and to this day, or it was until like, I don't know, maybe like 10 years ago that I was like, wait, England never won a team. I mean, a trophy with that team. Like, you remember those teams plugged with stars. And then Belgium right now, I don't know, they're number 1 in the world, right?
Yeah.
But what is that getting them? Is because it's like, I think in order to be considered a top national team, you have to be feared. Like being scared of playing against them. And it's like Belgium, I remember it's like a lot of teams can beat them. It's just
even before you continue, like the fear factor you brought up, that's what made arguably Spain the best national team. People didn't want to play Spain because they were just way too good. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, like Belgium, they got number 1 for playing against Macedonia, playing against random teams, like no disrespect to those countries, but they're obviously not on the level as other countries, right? And then every time the international stage comes, they just lose. Obviously, they lost in the semifinals in 2018.
To France,
to France, but I don't know. And then Portugal, I don't know, they had the Ronaldo factor. Obviously, not back then. He wasn't Ronaldo yet. He was.
To reference, this is Portugal from 2000 to 2006, for those who are wondering, because you're going to say, oh, he won a Euros. This is the previous one. But continue.
Yeah, and then the Netherlands, they still got to the final. I think the Netherlands have that respect of being a top national side, even though they've never won anything, but they also lost like 5 finals. So, I don't know. I think out of these teams, the only top side is probably that Argentina 2014. Maybe England, because I know England got robbed in like 2010.
Yeah, Germany, yeah.
So maybe England, but I don't know. Maybe like that Brazil from back then, I don't know. We didn't watch them. But Belgium, definitely not, because I feel like everyone can beat them. Not everyone, but I don't know. They don't put fear on people,
Okay, all right, I hear you. To give the viewers at home a little bit more context with the teams we're referencing, the England team we're referencing is between 2001 to 2007. The Argentina team we're referencing is 2010 to 2018. The Belgium team we're referencing is 2014 to the current day period, which is 2021. And then the Portugal team we're referencing is from 2000 to 2006. And obviously the Brazil team we're talking about is the one with Zico and Deadman, which obviously none of us were alive to really talk too much about. But that was during 1982, where they failed to win the World Cup and have been considered the greatest team to never win, one of the greatest teams to never win a World Cup. But now that adds a little bit more context.
They came third too. They didn't even get to the finals.
Yeah, yep, exactly. So, I mean, yeah, I think you referenced some good points, and I do think the fear factor is a very big factor to considering you a top national side. But Habib, what is your thoughts and opinions on this topic as well?
Like Tony said, like no one remembers losers. I think you have to win a World Cup to be considered one of the best all time in the best like nation. And like Brazil winning the most.
Before you continue, it's just a trophy. Just a trophy, just international. So it doesn't have to.
Okay, international. But either way, I think like any top team has to win, regardless. Euros, Copa America, World Cup. I think they have to win. Like Spain, a lot of people talk about the Spain team become one of the best of the international teams all time because they won Euros and then 2 Euros and then the World Cup.
Yeah, they won Euros and then World Cup.
Yeah,
back to back.
I think it's
the only team to ever do that.
Yeah, exactly. That Spain team probably top 3 all time. So I think I think you have to win. I think you just have to win. Like if you don't win, you're not considered. Like Belgium, this Belgium team won't be remembered, especially if Belgium don't have as many notable players in history. So like Argentina, they'll be remembered because of Messi and Messi's shortcomings, especially if they don't win the Copa America either. So, but we'll see. See what happens.
Okay. Adam Makanga, what's your opinions on this topic as well?
Yeah, I mean, a golden generation obviously is based on the talent and like the talent of the players, like the caliber and like how good those players are. Obviously, like you don't remember the losers. Like you don't be remembered for underperforming. And I feel like obviously as a golden generation, like you're basically a nucleus of very good players, of very talented players. So obviously the expectation that you have to be challenging, even just at least challenging, just challenge for something, as well as obviously winning your respective tournament. And I feel like obviously if you don't win, you'll just be remembered as, oh, what could have been, or like they should have done more. Like you just be remembered for failure rather than like being praised for being these good set of players. You'll be remembered for failing and like multiple shortcomings.
Yeah, so, no, I hear you. I'm in complete agreement with all of you, to be honest. Before I give my honest opinion, I'll try to play devil's advocate to give a different side so we can actually spark a little bit more of a topic since we're all in agreement. I do think to be considered one of the best nations ever, you have to win a national trophy. I completely understand that there are mitigating factors, and obviously sometimes another player doesn't turn up, sometimes there's injuries that can affect. But like you guys said, and you rightly said so, no one remembers the loser. And if they remember them for losing. It's not like, oh, they were a great accumulation of players, but who gives a shit if you don't win nothing? And I think a really good example is obviously me and Mukanga English. England, with that talent that we had, there was really no excuse to say England should have never won at least a trophy. But the reason why, when we talk about those England teams, we don't talk about how, oh, look at how many good players they had. We talk about how did this team never win anything? And I think when the key thing is that the narrative of the team completely changes when you fail to win anything, when you are considered a golden generation. So I completely agree with you all, but to spin the conversation so we can at least get a spark a little bit more debate, what do you think about other mitigating factors playing into facts to say that you can't be considered a great team? Because a good example is, obviously we weren't there to watch them, but the 1982 Brazil team is considered one of the greatest national teams, but they still failed to win a tournament or at least a major trophy. So what do you guys think of that?
I think managers plays a very important role in national teams because they have so little time to like be with players.
Yeah.
So they have to be like a good manager that knows how to influence them. And I also think that you should get at least to the World Cup final. Maybe not the Euro or the Copa America or something, but the World Cup final in order to be like top, because obviously that Argentina, like we said, they got to the World Cup final. They got to like 7 Copa Americas that they had in 2 years. So, and then the Netherlands also got to the World Cup final. And that's what I mean with the Netherlands. Like they have that respect as a top team, like just because of they are always there, and they produce the talent. And I don't know, man.
Even to build on your Netherlands argument, I think one thing why especially we talk about the Netherlands in such a positive way is because it's not even that. I'm talking about the 2010 one. They arguably faced the best ever national team we faced. And it took a red card and a pretty much 80-something minute winner from Iniesta to beat them. So I think
sure it was an extra time.
It was an extra time.
Yeah, you're correct. Correct. It was extra time.
Yeah.
I watched it. It was so long ago.
And Casillas saved them. Like Robin,
and Robin missed chances as well. Like Robin
missed chances, 100%.
Yeah.
So it's like things like that where I feel like it's so difficult to compare national teams to club level, because with club level you have that opportunity far more. Whereas national team, like you said, managers play an important role. It's only ever 4 years or maybe 2 years for like Euros and Copa America and etc. So you don't necessarily have the level of chances compared to a regular club level team. And I think they also play good factors. But yeah, I think you touched upon it perfectly. But to come back to you before anyone gives their opinion, would you consider that Netherlands team as one of the greatest national teams though, even though they still failed to
Definitely not one of the greatest because they're still thieves.
win? From Mexico?
Yeah, they're still thieves.
Oh, is he on
those...
about the 2014 game when Robin died?
Yeah.
So definitely, but definitely not one of the greatest. But they were a top team.
Mm-hmm.
Twice. They were a top team like twice, bro. Like, we're forgetting like the late 90s where they had like Bergkamp, Seedorf.
No, this is what I mean. They've lost the World Cup final like 4 times or 5 or something like that.
Overmars, Clover, like they were a top team. And then the generation after them, they had Robin, Schneider, Van Persie, Huntelaar, like just to name a few players. Like they had good players. Obviously, they didn't win anything, but
but they got to the World Cup final. And that's what I mean. Like, if you're not winning anything, at least get to the World Cup final to be like a very good team.
I was saying, at least challenge for it. Like, at least challenge for it. Like, if you're at least challenge for the trophies.
Because once you get to the final, anything can happen. You know, you can just lose on a one-off game, like 100%. Certain team that lost for playing with no CDMs. But
peak
champions of Europe.
City in this.
Yeah. No, but even a good example, if we go to even club level to move away from the national team, a good example is Atletico Madrid or even Juve. During the 2010 to 2020, Juve got to 3 finals and they didn't win either of them. And it's just like,
we don't remember Madrid or Barca every season.
Barcelona, exactly. And we don't remember them the same because they lost. So I think even translating that back again to the national level, it becomes very hard to remember them in the test of time because you're like, oh, that's the team that lost to who and who, or so and so. So yeah, but Habib, do you have anything else you want to add to this as well? Because we've gone through.
No, I completely agree with you guys. Like, I think, like, Netherlands team, they took Spain to the finals and Spain barely beat them, but they won't be remembered like Spain did or like any other team that's won. So at the end of the day, I think you have to win to be remembered and to be acknowledged as one of the best of all time. So that's just my opinion.
No, I mean, I can't agree more. I think Tony mentioned a really good point, though, about managers. And I think this is something I do hope changes a little bit when it comes to international management. The level of manager quality is significantly worse. And I think that also is a very big factor to why some of these teams end up underperforming. But then that's also because no one wants to necessarily manage international when you can play for a club week in, week out, managing a club. So it's a tough one, I think. But does anyone else have anything they would like to add or any questions they want to pose? Because I think we've kind of wrapped it up kind of nicely, unless anyone wants to add anything else.
No, I'm good. Like, I think we touched upon everything. Like, there is no, like, I don't have any disputes. I can't really dispute anything. So.
Okay. Yeah. I think this will be a short one. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a quick debate on obviously how certain golden generations competed at the national level and whether they will remember the test of time. Because I think, history is the biggest factor to whether a team is really remembered or not. So it's very important. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And like, share, subscribe, and comment, all of that. Yeah.